All right. Hello, everyone. Come on in to All Things Odd. I'm Dr. Natalie Phillips, and I have got a few surprises for you today. Okay. One of the biggest surprises is dun 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 dun. Dr. Galloway
Yay.
is back. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. She's not necessarily back in the office, but she's back on the show. So welcome back.
Thank you.
And let's talk to her real quickly before we bring on our guest. And I'll kind of share this out, but let's talk to her a little bit more. As you can tell, she's not in the office, but how's everything going?
It's good. It's good. So Finn is actually napping, but if he wakes up, he'll be on. So he's 3 months old now, and he's growing like a weed. So he's just getting bigger every day, and it's funny to watch him and Ruby together. So it's been really fun. But I'm glad to get back to the office and kind of get headed that way. Him and I are coming in on Wednesdays and Fridays, and then I'll be back in January. So
Yeah. So, but she's only coming in to do admin work, you guys. And
yes.
so, like, you might catch her, you might not. But I'm still seeing patients. We'll still give her a break. Like, don't worry about it. We got you covered. We are booking out, but she'll be back really soon to see patients starting in January. So if you're lucky, you'll get to see her in the office, but still not seeing patients until January. So welcome back to the show. Now, we're going to just kind of update you guys on our YouTube channel. Doing really well. We got a few more subscribers. And again, we've got a couple of other videos. If you want to go back and watch some of our videos, they're all categorized in playlists if you want to. I'm going to go ahead and click onto that so you can kind of see how they are grouped together. If you have anything that you want us to cover, please feel free also to send us a message. We're all over the place in social media, also on by email, whatever you want to do to reach out to us. If you want to have us talk to about a certain topic, definitely come and let us know. Send us a message somehow. Okay, so with that, we are going to introduce our guest here. And we have Nicolle from Cochlear. How are you, Nicolle?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here and talk things Cochlear.
Yeah, we are super excited as well. I think one of the biggest things is for us catching up where you are because we have had you on the show before. We've had a different show with a different office, but we want to kind of catch people up on what's out there with cochlear implants. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about candidacy today. And then we've got a new launch item to talk about. Super exciting. So we're really excited to have you here. So let's talk a little bit before you let me know if we need to head into some slides that we have, but let's talk a little bit about cochlear implant candidacy.
Sounds good. Yeah. So candidacy, it's probably the number one topic when it comes to cochlear implant, right? Who can benefit one? Who is it for? All of those good things. So candidacy has come a long way since we've started with this technology. Natalie, you and I were chatting earlier. It used to be you needed to be pretty deaf, right? For a cochlear implant, severe to profound hearing loss, really not being able to understand anything. Hearing aids weren't an option. And you had to be an adult. Now we can implant kiddos starting at 9 months old. I don't have a lot of information to share with you today, but age requirement, no one is too old for a cochlear implant, so that's really exciting. But if you want to go into the slides, we can talk about where we are today.
Awesome. Let's do that. All right. So let's head over. Let's talk about your mission first, since we've got that up.
So anytime we do anything cochlear and we're talking to people about us, we do talk about our mission. We have those 3 bold words there. Did we lose Natalie?
Maybe so.
I'll keep chatting. But we had
We
the 3 bold
PowerPoint.
Yeah, I can talk to that in my sleep though. Welcome back.
That's good. Okay, hold on. Let me see if we can get your slides back up. Sorry about that.
All right.
That was weird. Okay, here we go.
Okay, so our 3 bold words here in our mission: empower, transforming, and innovating. So the empower and the transform is really talking about we want to do everything we can for providers to empower their patients and everybody out there on how people look and think about hearing loss, and same thing with that transform part. We also want to empower patients and candidates to do what they can to connect with others and live the best life that they can. And then today we're really talking about that innovate portion. We strive here at Cochlear to make sure that every day we're prepared to be there for a patient. Like I said, those 9-month-old babies that get implanted today, we want to be here 100 years from now to make sure that they continue to hear the best they can with this technology. So we're always looking at new solutions and working with different people to really raise access and awareness to this technology. So you can go to the next one. So what I put on here is we were talking about how candidacy has changed, and you used to have to have a severe to profound hearing loss and not being able to understand anything. What we've initiated recently is something called our 60-60 rule, and this is for providers, but even for patients to think about, is it time to consider coming in to evaluate for a cochlear implant? So if you've ever had a hearing test done, you've listened to the beeps and you see them plotted on the graph, if those marks are right around that, at that 60 dB level, that 60 line on the graph, my audiologists out there, you know what I mean when I say the pure tone average. Mm-hmm. If it's 60 or worse, we're going to say, let's talk about a cochlear implant. The one that's probably easier for patients to think about is in conversation or with the hearing aids, and for audiologists and those unaided word scores, understanding less than 60% of what's being said in the better ear. Those are two really good indicators that it's time to talk about a cochlear implant, because we know those that have an implant will perform better than those percentages.
I love this graphic because it makes it so easy to remember. Like you said, when I first started doing implants like 20 years ago, it literally was severe to profound, corner audiogram, one-sided only, right? And makes it so much easier to remember. So, and I really want to leave it up for a while too. So I'm going to have Hannah kind of talk about when she entered into cochlear implants as well, because I mean, I'd always have to take out a sheet of paper now and go, okay, now where are we at? And I'm sure other audiologists are the same way of like, okay, wait, let me figure this out. 1 ear, 2 ears, because things have changed so many times. And this makes it so much easier. And I want audiologists, and I also want consumers to take a look at this too, so that they understand it, right? There's a lot of people that come into our office and they're like, oh, I was told I was an implant candidate. And what they mean is a BAHA, or a bone anchored hearing aid, which is, different, but this makes it so much easier for people to remember. Hannah, do you remember when you started doing cochlear implants, what the top of your head, what the candidacy criteria was at that time?
Well, and I think it's interesting because it's like, are you a candidate and will insurance pay for it? Sometimes is not the same question. And so when I got out of school, I was always looking at the Medicare criteria of that 40%, but that just recently changed, which is really exciting because 40% is tough because that's with hearing aids. And that's not this graphic that we're talking about. That's talking about when you come in to get evaluated, for a cochlear implant, you put your hearing aids on, we put you in the booth, we do some testing. It used to be you had to do less than 40% in both ears to be a candidate. And that's not a good place to be. And so patients had this, it was like this waiting game of, when am I going to qualify for it? I know that's what's going to happen, but when, and until then, I'm just kind of suffering with my hearing aids. I'm not doing very well. So I went to the CPN Cochlear Provider Network dinner recently and heard about the new Medicare and CMS change. So that's really exciting, that people that are doing, a little bit better can actually still have access to that before we get to the point where we're really, really, really struggling and, families complaining and all of that. So that 40% is kind of what sticks out in my mind. And it's probably going to be hard for me to, jump back in after maternity leave here and change my mind to 60. But I got a really big magnet that's like this big for our booth that I got at the Cochlear Provider Network dinner that can help remind us too about the change.
Nice. Yeah, I love that. I love it. Okay. All right. So I wanted to leave it up just quickly so that people could kind of, as they're browsing through their social media and watching this, they're like, wait, what a minute, what is this again? So I love it. So thanks, Nicolle, for that.
Of course, and it's an easy way to remember.
Single-sided deafness has also changed too. That used to be something that wasn't even, on the table. And now that is something that can be considered. So there's really been a lot of, the candidacy has really expanded even in the last, 6 or so years.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
All right. So this is the true criteria, right? So according to the FDA, these are the things that a patient has to meet to be considered a candidate for a cochlear implant. So we're talking about that graph, right? The audiogram on that right-hand side. If those X's and O's fall within that yellow shaded area, so it'd be considered a moderate to profound hearing loss in both ears, with a limited benefit from bilateral hearing aids. So wearing hearing aids in both ears. And that is defined by the FDA by 50% or less in the ear to be implanted, or 60% or less in the best aided condition, typically meaning using both ears, right? So this is exactly what you were talking about, Hannah, that 50, 60%. So this is our FDA indication. And up until September 26th, when we got some really good news, it was for, private insurances would cover a cochlear implant for that candidacy. And so up until September 26th, Medicare did have that 40% or less in the ear to be implanted or in the best aided condition. But if you go to the next slide.
And I wanted to add really quick, because I know that Hannah and I love to talk about this too. That limited benefit from amplification is super important to understand too, because a lot of people come in and say, yep, I'm a cochlear implant candidate, and they're sitting there talking to us, and they're able to, we're covering our mouth, and they're able to hear us. And, and sometimes she and I, we're very much big sticklers of making sure that it is the best aided condition, right, that we're testing them in. And so when we do a cochlear implant evaluation, if their hearing aids are like 20 years old, we're going to put some new technology on you to make sure, right? Or if it's not fit right and we see something that we can try, we're going to try that first and then let you sit with it and then do the testing for an implant. So it's not something that we're just kind of spitting people out like, yep, you're a candidate, right? But it's super important to understand that limited benefit from amplification is really in that best interest for you. And just so that, we're talking about both sides of the coin here. I know that there's people that are really huge in the deaf community, like not cheering over this, right? Because they're like, oh, great, they're expanding the candidacy. But we get to see as audiologists the improvement and how much improved it is with a cochlear implant. So we are cheering it because it's allowing more people to have that. But there still is that fine line as an ethical audiologist to make sure that we're putting them in the best aided condition. And so trust that audiologists will take care of that and make sure prior to you becoming considered for a cochlear implantation. So I just wanted to kind of talk about that real quick.
That's perfect. So the next one, breaking news. Like I said, as of September 26th, I believe is the date, is when Medicare switched from that 40% understanding with hearing aids to now meeting the same as that FDA indication of 60% or poorer in the best aided condition. So really excited because now, kind of regardless of what insurance has, if you fall under this indication, it's likely going to be covered by the insurance plan. So again, it's part of the Innovate working with Medicare to show them the research behind it to get this improved candidacy through Medicare. So we were really excited to see this because a lot of people would come in and we knew that they could really benefit from it. And now they don't have to wait as long because we know they're going to do better if you get implanted earlier. So we're really excited to have this.
Nice.
Yeah, the weight between 40% and 60% or 60% and 40% aided condition is pretty serious. And that's, we know now, if your brain is not using that, it's losing it. And so the earlier we can get a jump on it, the better, And so that's really exciting that we've had that change in criteria, because it's really hard to have a patient in front of you and go, okay, are you 64 or are you 65? Do I have to follow the private insurance criteria for you, or are we on Medicare criteria? And so, it should all be one and the same. So I'm glad that we're CMS is kind of on the same page now.
We're all very excited. just like you, I do not like that feeling of having to, oh, it's because of your insurance. We can't move forward with this. And it was something that somebody was really excited about. So again, just really happy about it. And then this is our other big change in candidacy. Most recently, we did get FDA approval for a cochlear implant with single-sided deafness. So having one ear that has really poor hearing or that severe to profound hearing loss on the bad ear, and that good ear with up to a mild hearing loss of 30 dB across the board. So we could put a cochlear implant in that poorer ear so a patient can have true hearing on the side of that bad ear. We've always had the indication for our bone conduction solution, which would pick up sound on the poorer ear, but the better ear would actually be the side that is hearing it through vibrations of the bone. That is still an option that's out there as a non-surgical solution, or if you don't meet that cochlear implant number. So there are now more options for individuals with this configuration of hearing loss. So another really exciting expansion of cochlear implant criteria.
Well, and speaking on that, if you don't use it, you lose it kind of thing. This is allowing, so the difference here that Nicolle was just talking about is with the cochlear implant, you're actually able to just aid that ear and stimulate that nerve instead of just saying, okay, this ear has poor hearing. We're just kind of, giving up on that and we're going to use the other side, which sometimes we have to do, and that's fine, but it's exciting to be able to actually use that side. Patients read research and they go, well, I read if you don't stimulate it, then you just lose that. And it is kind of true, but we're also limited by what, insurance is going to pay for and everything like that. So that's awesome to have the option for people.
Yeah. And I mean, even that kind of, use it or lose it is written into this criteria as well. One of the, we call contraindications for this is if you've had that poor hearing loss, or that poor hearing and that bad ear for over 10 years, it excludes you from this criteria because we know you're probably not going to perform as well as we would like you to with the surgery. So something to think about with this as well as there is a time frame on this one, unlike the traditional candidacy.
And that makes sense and goes with the research and everything, that we know that those patients, you can't just leave that ear for 30 years and then magically it's going to go great, because we know that it probably isn't. But it's for those people that are kind of in, the gray area, and they can make that choice to either go the bone conduction route or try to go the cochlear implant route too.
Yeah, and I'm loving these graphics again too. So if you're an audiologist and you're watching this and you're saying, "Oh, I kind of want to have that," reach out to Cochlear too, and or send a message to us if you don't really know how to, or you don't have a good contact there. And I'm sure that they can give you some of these great graphics to have for your own use as well. Or while we have somebody from Cochlear live, put something in the comments if you want to ask a question as well. But these are great, Nicolle. I love them.
Oh, I'm glad. I love them too. I like it when I like to make it easy, quick, grab the information you need. So
yeah, absolutely. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm so excited.
So I'm going to go get him for an 8.
Okay. So yay. So we're going to have a little visitor on screen as well. But I am so excited about this. If you guys have not seen this yet, I don't really tend to call a lot of technology sexy, but oh my gosh, like this looks so amazing. I don't even know if the next slide shows it. So I wanted to kind of get people, excited about this, about the new processor, but it's pretty cute and amazing. So Nicolle, you go ahead and take it away.
Awesome. It is pretty cute and amazing, but not as cute and amazing as our another little guest here.
This is Finn.
Hi, Finn.
Oh, he's really excited about that over there.
I know. I'm like, he's not
over
quite.
Here,
he's a little camera shy. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. He'll get there.
Awesome. Okay.
I love it.
Do you want me to go ahead and advance?
Yes. So let's talk about this Nucleus 8. It is our smaller, smarter, better connected sound processor. So there it is in all of its glory on the screen. So we're talking smaller, and we're talking smaller. We are comparing it to our previous technology. So if you go to the next slide, you'll actually be able to see that comparison. So our previous technology was the Nucleus 7 sound processor. Comparing those two, like for like, as far as battery size or type of battery on it, the Nucleus 8 or new one is 15% smaller and 13% lighter than the Nucleus 7. I was with a clinician on Tuesday and she goes, there's no way it's only 15% smaller, because it felt so much lighter in her hands, and I'm really excited about it. And what you also might notice with that comparison, that larger one on the left-hand side is the Nucleus 6, for those wondering. The shape is a little bit different, right? So this was designed to be more ergonomically designed to fit more rounded around patient's ear. So it's lighter, but designed to fit better behind the ear as well. It just means more comfort for people that are wearing it. And that's big when you're wearing this 10 hours plus a day, right? Depending on how long you're awake and doing things. So when we can make things smaller, people are always happier. It's going to be more comfortable, and it just looks so sleek.
Yeah,
So we're really
I'm
excited
so
about that.
amazed. I'm so amazed. I love it.
Yeah. So it's also smarter, right? Everyone thinks, how can a device be smart? Well, in our old technology, we had scan, and now we have scan 2. What is scan? It's a scene classifier. It's those microphones picking up on the sounds in the environment and determining the best way to filter that sound so patients can hear better. In scan 2, it's more precise. So it's going to more accurately determine what kind of environment the listener is in. So that's really exciting. But then we also have forward focus and improved forward focus in this. And if you go to the next slide, I believe we have a little more information on that, talking about scan 2 as well. So forward focus is there to manage background noise. Previously, you'll see on the right-hand side, our app. So you as the audiologist would have to enable that for your patient in the software. And then the user would go into their app and turn forward focus on to give them that true directionality and pick up the sound in front of them and mute somewhat of the background noise. With scan 2 with forward focus, this is actually an automated feature. So patients don't have to remember to turn it on and turn it back off. So that's really exciting. But for those that do want that more control over it, we still do have the traditional forward focus for patients to go on who liked that feature, who are maybe used to it from the older technology. So you get the best of both worlds in the Nucleus 8.
Yeah, I think that will be a good change, because many of my patients forgot it was there. And then just as easily, if they did happen to remember it was there, then they forgot to turn it off. So having it be automated, I think, is better. Just like when scan came about the first time, it's like, no, it does it for you. So that's great.
I think our number one biggest request as far as that smart side of it was for an automated forward focus. So here you go. It's here.
Yay.
This is what I am most excited about, is this better connected with the Nucleus 8. So as you guys know, and maybe those listening know, our Nucleus 7 is made for iPhone, made for Android. We've improved upon that. So it's ready for the next generation Bluetooth low energy. So I'm going to try my best to explain a little bit about Bluetooth. I'm not an expert by any means, but classic Bluetooth is what people I think are most used to utilizing, but it's also very power hungry. So a lot of battery drain. So we've historically used the Bluetooth low energy for that audio exchange between the phone and the processor. We are still using that, but there have been advances in Bluetooth low energy outside of the hearing aid and cochlear implant world. So we're embracing that, and patients are going to have increased access to streaming abilities without the need of something in the middle to connect to it. So that's coming with Bluetooth Auracast. And on the next slide, we'll talk a little bit about that, kind of explain it a little bit more. But I am the most excited for this. This is the future of how we're all going to be able to connect and hear better and hear what we want in, some pretty chaotic environments. So Bluetooth Auracast is I'll have you go to the next one, but you can pretty much choose, if this is enabled, what audio source you want to listen to. So I was telling Natalie earlier, I was on an airplane earlier this morning and listening for gate announcements. I couldn't tell which gate an announcement was made. I thought I almost was getting on the wrong plane, and I wish I had this. I wish this was enabled in the real world and I had something to connect to it. But when this is available, you can go into your Auracast on the phone, or maybe there'll be a QR code and you scan it. And I could have chosen that at gate B11, that was going to be the announcements I heard through whatever listening device I was using.
Cool. Wow.
So, you think about being at the airport or like the train station, places like that, at a sports bar, you got multiple TVs going on, multiple games. I want to listen to that TV over there that has the Nuggets game on it. I can choose that TV and have that directly streamed to my device. So Auracast is not quite ready yet for the world. It hasn't been launched outside of Cochlear yet, but the Nucleus 8 sound processor is ready to go as soon as this is available. So we're really excited about it. Also can be used in classrooms, like on college campuses, thinking kind of like a new and improved loop system.
Yeah,
very cool.
Can be really awesome. And I think it's especially for the older generation that doesn't have as good of a handle on Bluetooth. They're like, well, but how come I can stream to my phone, but I can't stream to my TV? Or sometimes they know about like screen mirroring on the TV, and they're like, but my phone does this. So it's hard to understand why I can't connect to this because of Bluetooth, but I can connect to this. Yeah. So just being able to like have all the options is going to be great for people.
Yeah, I love that. I actually have never heard of it. And so it's really interesting to see the power that is going to be given back to the user to be able to focus on what they want to listen to. So that's awesome.
Well, and I think a lot of the frustrations too with connectivity for people, hearing aid users and implant users, comes down to Bluetooth. And it's like we don't have control over how Bluetooth works. It is what it is. But with this new version of Bluetooth, and I have a very crude understanding of it, so I'm definitely not going to try to explain it. I just know that all of our electronics are going to work better, including our cars and everything as far as connectivity, just because it's a better way of going about it. Right now, everything's so saturated with just general Bluetooth that it's, you get on your phone to connect to something and there's 30 things that you don't even know what they are. So
yeah, this is amazing. That's awesome.
This is what I am most excited about. All the other features are really exciting, but this, I heard about it and I was like, when's it going to be ready? I think that's everyone's biggest question. As soon as Bluetooth says it's ready, we'll let you know.
Awesome.
So yeah, this is just a summary of our Nucleus 8. So again, there it is. The other thing that I didn't mention is that we have improved water resistance on the Nucleus 8 sound processor. So it has an IP68 rating. So if you don't know what that means, it means it is dust and waterproof. So you can go swimming, be in the water and not worry about something damaging the processor. We do still have an aqua kit available. I'm thinking about people that are maybe in chlorinated water or salt water or going to be really underwater for extended periods of time. We would still recommend that. But for parents with kiddos, letting them wear their processor at bath time or running around in the sprinkler in the summer, things like that you just don't have to worry about as much anymore. And then,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say it's super cool, but I'm sitting here thinking the people that are watching this, right? Obviously, cochlear implant recipients moving forward, this is going to be their choice, right? Which is Nucleus 8. Yes. But how about some of the other ones that are coming up that still have 6s or 7s? I know that there is a process for upgrades, but who would be eligible to backdate to when they got their implant?
Yeah, absolutely. So anybody who's at the upgrade point for their processor can upgrade to this. It was actually made commercially available last week, so people could start ordering it as of last week. And then for those that maybe have been implanted recently, we made the announcement globally for this. I don't want to fudge the date. Of course, I feel like I'm going to. August 18th, I believe, is the date that it was that we announced it globally, where Europe got the approval for it. So individuals that had activated from that point forward can exchange a processor for the Nucleus 8. Double check with your audiologist, reach out to Cochlear to confirm that that's the correct date and that you are eligible for that. And then anybody who was activated October 31st, Halloween, up until now, can exchange 1 or 2 processors for it. So October 31st was the date that the FDA approved the device. So awesome. We finally have it. It's ready to ship. If you think you're within that time frame of being able to exchange it, reach out to either your audiologist or reach out to Cochlear, and we'll let you know what that process looks like and if you truly are eligible for it. But
great.
There's a good chunk of people that are eligible. And most of those individuals that have a Nucleus 7 that fall within that date will likely get a notification from us that they are eligible for this.
Okay, awesome. Good.
Yeah.
All right.
Those are my slides. And the other thing on the Nucleus 8 is it does come in a new color. So we had our typical beige, black, a dark gray, brown and white. We now have a silver color. So our devices are compatible with the GN Resound hearing aid. So the new silver actually matches the silver of that Resound. So more options for patients to match if they are using both types of technology.
Awesome. That sounds amazing. All right. Hannah, any other thoughts or questions that you might have?
No, I'm glad we did this kind of show as a refresher, just because all audiologists, if I hadn't attended that CPN or Cochlear Provider Network meeting, I wouldn't have been updated because I've been a little, not following emails as closely. So I think it's good for audiologists just to kind of get this as a refresher. What's new? What's the encouragement to sort of, jump for this versus the 7? And I know we have a couple patients that actually we have one who has been trying to upgrade for a really long time. And if she can get this, that may be worth jumping through all those hurdles. So she's just had like some insurance headaches and things, but maybe it's worked in her favor because she can get something new.
Yeah. And I've got somebody in mind.
Those dates for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So it truly is August 18th. Anybody August 18th and up has the option to exchange at least one processor for the Nucleus.
Okay. Or if you're upgrade status as well.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I'm thinking of someone as well. And I don't know if it's the same person, but she usually watches this. So I'm sure she's going to catch it. But it's definitely time for her to upgrade. And so I think that she would be floored to see what they look like. So hopefully she'll catch this as well. Yeah.
Well, and just, the techie stuff, like really, even if you're not someone who's techie these days, it's like at your job, you may need to listen to a certain thing or be able to connect to a certain thing. And it's just really, I think, helping people have access, especially at conferences or public places, like you were talking about, the speaker system at the airport. I don't know who they think can actually hear that, because I do have normal hearing and I have never been able to understand what is going on at DIA.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you, Nicolle, for being on. And it was such a joy to have Finn make an appearance. I think that after the bilabial sounds that he makes of mama, and I think it's probably going to be like Cochlear, some kind of galato sound that he's going to be making. I just feel like all this is going in by osmosis, and don't be surprised that he probably won't say ball after that, but it might be ear or Cochlear or something like that. Just because he's going to have everything around him. So I love it.
Well, his sister does not stop talking, and some of the stuff that this morning she said dinosaur roar during breakfast. I'm like, you're not even 2. How do you know we're dinosaurs? So I'm sure he'll get his ear chatted off by both me and her.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much. If you guys have any other questions, like I said, just reach out to us. We can get a hold of Cochlear if you want any flyers or anything for your offices as well. Or if you're a consumer and you want to reach out to your audiologist, now that you've got the information, reach out and just double check if you're a candidate, or if you do have a cochlear implant, if it's something that you can upgrade to with the new Nucleus 8 sound processors. So thank you so much, Nicolle, for your time. And hopefully this is
Thank you.
very informative for others, and share it out if you think that you've got something to share. So thanks so much. And we will be back with a whole new episode next week. We'll see you then.
Bye. Thanks,
Bye.
Nicolle.
Thank you.